Presentation of my album Strong in the Red and Blue Club.
Strong is your new album.
Strong is my old album, and I'm working on a new album.
Where you get the improvisation to write this album? Because I see on your album a lot of special titles like Strong, Get Out the Classes. Let me ask you something like Come and Get Your Love, what it means, where you get the inspiration.
Come and Get Your Love was by a lover that rejected me, and I got my inspiration from the fact that I was rejected, and then they decided that they wanted to come back. So then I looked and I said, well, come and get your love.
I feel also in your music a special combination of different kind of styles. I feel pop, electronic, funk, jazz in it. Is that your own style?
You feel jazz, you feel punk, you feel rock and roll. It's a fusion. It's a fusion of all the things that I did. First, when I was a youngster in Jamaica, I took classical piano. So I loved rock and roll during the 80s when the hippies were around. I was a hippie, but probably a white-collared hippie. But yes, I find inspiration from life, and it's a fusion of different things that I do.
Also, you're not working alone on this album. I see that names like Pink Floyd people, a lot of famous people work together on this album.
Well, on my album, there are a lot of famous people, but with Pink Floyd, I borrowed his backup singers for a couple of my tracks. Get Out of Your Closet, it's Pink Floyd's backup singers. Strong is myself and Anita Ilicic from Serbia. And it's a combination of different people. Even my sister is doing backup on a couple of my tracks.
Your sister? Who's your sister?
Grace Jones.
Of course. But we're not here to talk about your sister. You live in Belgium and in London.
Yes, I live in Belgium and in London. For the past year, I was living in Hoezenzolder. So I am a Limburger. And now I'm in Antwerp, and then I go back to London.
Where people can find information about Chris Jones. You have a website, iTunes.
Yeah, www.chrisjonesmusic.net.
Can you just repeat it on my website? I can find
My
information.
website, you can find my website at www.chrisjonesmusic.net.
So, and if you go to iTunes, you just put Chris Jones and Strong.
Yes, Chris Jones Strong, and it will pop up.
And the next album will coming out at the end of the year.
It's coming out at the end of the year. My next album is coming out at the end of the year. It's called No Flowers, No Trees. And three of the tracks are produced by artists and producers from Belgium.
And who are they?
The Rhythm of Love is produced by Julian Deschaneux and Frank Gusting. No Flowers, No Trees. I started that with Olivier Adams, but I didn't finish it with him. And Real Love is produced by Erwin Byrons, and he plays guitar, and his brother Eric Byrons plays guitar on this track. They're from Antwerp.
This club here is called, once in a while they do it like Studio 54. Yeah. But back in the days, you was a DJ in Studio 54, is that correct?
Yes, I worked in Studio 54, I worked in the 10th floor in Les Jardins. I was a top DJ for many, many years, worked in Brazil, and finally I had a job in Paris, and it was very good because then I could start my modeling career also with Elite Men. So I lived in Paris for 10 years doing music and modeling and commercials.
Yeah, because you was like on every cover of the magazine. I remember that you was on the cover of Vogue.
Yes, I've been on Vogue several times, but you know, it's nice to be on the cover of Vogue, but they don't pay. It's just very prestigious. It gets you more work, but there were many times when if they asked me to do swimming suits in the winter and I thought it was too dangerous, I wouldn't do it. But it's a prestigious magazine, and it does take you further.
You start very late to work on your own career in music? I mean, like working for your album. Is that a reason?
Well, Yeah, there is a reason. I wanted to see what my friends were going to do and how they themselves their careers would go. At first, I wanted to be in the background, you know, writing, producing, but, you know, as a model and as a show person, I felt that, you know, I had a message to deliver, so I did.
So it's never too late.
It's never too late.
There is no age on music.
There is no age, but you see, the thing is that you know I've been singing a long time, but actually I stopped a while to help my sister with her career, her new album 7 years ago. So this was a reason why my particular things were delayed because of the fact that you know she needed support. And I also supported her in the very beginning of her career when she did her first two tracks, Jealousy and Sorry, I Need a Man. I mean, it was her and I going to the studios. There was no big producers, no big management. You know, it was just the beginning.
At least the last album from your sister Hurricane that was reproduced by Sly and Robbie.
Yeah.
But if you hear that kind of music is totally opposite of the music of Chris Jones, why you didn't go in, you want to do something very completely different?
Well, yes, I think our voices and our music styles are similar. I mean, I did a couple of tracks with Sly and Robbie many, many years ago. It was called American Lover. I've been in the music industry working with Chris Blackwell and many artists, Marian Faithfull, the Rolling Stones, many various artists in the background. You know, Duran Duran, they're all my friends. I mean, we all grew up together in the same business, you know, right? So, I mean, I've always been in the background, and I just decided, well, you know, I have a message too, so hey, why not?
If your family's in music,
Not all of them, some of them.
well, we have Grace
Grace and Chris
and Chris.
and Paulo, my grandson.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
singing in church, what I heard.
Well, I sing in church, and they all started off singing in
You're
church.
still also performing.
I still sing in church. Yes.
Is it the first time you're going to see Chris performing in this kind of music?
Yes, it is. It's my first time. Yes, that's
it's
why
a-
I had to be here.
That is a different kind of music. Grace is more in disco, and Chris is more in pop, electronic, special music.
Oh, that's wonderful. It's good to be different.
Okay. And after I'm going to ask you, if you just see the show after, I'm going to ask you what was your idea. Is that okay?
All right, that's fine.
Thank you.
Okay.